She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Today we went to a place where I spent 6 years of my life as a child, and probably the most concentrated part of my childhood that I can remember. Yeah.
When was the last time you'd been there?
Hans and I drove by a really long time ago, and the house was actually still there when we drove by last time. So this set of condos is probably inside of the last, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, but I think it's been like 20 years or so since I drove down Grant Avenue. Might be, I can't even remember, honestly. I don't even remember how many kids I had the last time that I can't even remember. It's a long time ago, but I know that Hans was with me one time, just driving by kind of thing. Yeah.
So what was it like walking where you used to walk?
I think at first as I'm walking, as we're pulling into 2417 Grant Avenue, which is so crazy that I remember that address, you know, the surroundings are different. Like last night I was looking on maps and Google Earth and trying to find it, right? And the number 2417 like came into my spirit. I'm like, I think that's it. So I went and like tried to find it through Google Maps, and like, so it looks like a big white house and with a super long driveway, but I'm not sure as I'm looking here on Google Earth if this is like, is that it or not? And so then I scroll a little bit to the left and I get in front of this other older house, and sure enough I get a clear line of sight directly to the apartment that has the same exact apartments, the same coloring, the same garage doors, the same design on the garage door, like this diamond shaped thing that's on the garage door. And I went, that's it. So where the white building was is where our property was. This house was literally, this is where our house was, right here.
It's gone now?
It's gone, yeah. So it was up against this, not this fence, but a fence that was right here. And yeah, this house was behind us.
So we're literally like standing.
We are literally standing, yeah, we are literally standing where the house sign was. Yeah, like outside my bedroom window, which would have been right here. We looked into their house.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. It's like, initially it's like, okay, the old house is not there anymore, and so something new is here, you know what I mean? And so, but right away, you know, I have the flood of the memories of there was a retaining wall. To me, it was huge because I'm a little kid, you know, so there's a big retaining wall and you know, a big, it was actually kind of like a parking lot, and then there was a grassy area, a huge tree, and that was our little yard for this little house. So I think initially it was, you know, as we drive through LA, and honestly what spurred this whole thing is yesterday I went to go get some blood work done. I should have done it while I was in Texas, and there was a deadline to have it done, so then I'm like, oh, I gotta do this in LA. And we start driving down Inglewood Avenue to go to this place to get, you know, blood work done, and I'm like, I feel my belly just starts churning like crazy, and everything looks so familiar. But I had never gone from, you know, here at the airport from this direction to there, right? So right away, I'm like, my belly is just churning, and I'm looking at these houses. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know where I'm at. Like, I've been here before. And you know, when you're a little kid and in the back of a station wagon that has a big burn mark on the hood, you know, I don't know that you're paying that much attention, you know what I mean? And so, but looking at these houses, they're the same. And so when we came up to Grant Avenue, and seeing, there's been quite a few houses that have been torn down and replaced and old apartments, but I'm shocked at how many of the same old apartments are there. So initially it's like, it's not the place, but I can feel the emotions, and I can feel the flood of the memories.
Literally, my mom would send me on my bike or on foot to go to the grocery store for them.
Really?
As like a 6-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
A 6-year-old?
Riding on this busy street
Oh.
to the store to get munchies.
Munchies.
The thing that is so surprising is how much fear. Yeah, how much fear that I didn't realize I had as a kid. I think I don't know why, but I really connected to that kind of fear that I don't think I've ever really thought about that there was a lot of tormenting fear.
I honestly could not imagine letting my kid walk. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, my sisters and I, little, I'm 5 years old. I'm walking down this busy street. They're younger than me. Walking down the street to this park.
When we first put up in the car, I had the flash of the ambulance taking my mom in a stretcher. Because who I thought was my dad had beaten her to a bloody pulp. Not once, but many times. So, so I had that kind of flood of memories, and then, now we're walking down Grant Avenue to go to the park, and seeing the same apartment buildings and feeling the fear.
Same apartments, same house. Wow. Same apartments.
I could feel it, and I'm 5'8". I'm a big girl. I'm not a little tiny thing. So, trying to seeing it as a big, tall woman versus a 5-year-old walking on that incredibly busy street, and having my 2 little sisters with me, crossing a busy street to get to the park. It's crazy to think that somebody would let their kids do that.
So this was the park that you guys would go to?
I mean, I seriously could not ever. I can't imagine letting my 8-year-old or a 10-year-old just watch the park by themselves.
It was a neat memory today at the park. I mean, there's some terrible memories at the park, like playing on a construction site. You're a little kid, you don't know, right? So they were building that those baseball, I don't know what you call those, whatever those fences are, the dugouts.
This was all being built, and there was just a pole here, and I jumped on the pole and started to twirl and hit my head right there. Cracked my head open, 14 stitches. Out of school for a month.
Oh
Major
my
concussion.
gosh.
Because, kids play, right? And they only have their parents with them, Gosh, how old was I? I think I might have been 7 or 8, maybe. Yeah, 7 or 8. And just hit my head right on right there. On here.
Blood everywhere.
Blood everywhere. In fact, I had super long Latin hair, and all of it had to be cut off because there was a huge bloody knot, like the size of a baseball, on my head. Just a huge knot.
There's some crazy memories there that were not good.
There was this man that used to come here, and he used to run, right? So run in this park. And he came and he sat on one of these benches while I was here, and there's just kids everywhere. And he was wearing like these blue running shorts, super short running shorts, and literally exposed himself and just sat there with his leg totally open on the bench and just totally exposed himself. Right over there. And I remember grabbing my sister saying, we gotta go. I think about how many times I could have been abducted is crazy. Or my sisters, or it's crazy to think about that. I mean, all these buildings are the same. It's really crazy.
It was really interesting to me to like step on the basketball court, and I didn't realize, and then all of a sudden I had the flash of my very first basketball practice there and being so excited.
This is where I first learned to play basketball. I was 6 years old. That's wild. This is
like, yeah, pigtails on the top of my head hanging down to my backside, you know. Little dark kid with big space in between my teeth. I'm 6 years old, not even old enough to play in the league.
double dribble, running with the ball, traveling, breaking all the rules. Granny shots.
Like totally not knowing what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh, what a trip. Yeah, right here. Man, yeah. I literally just remembered that. What a trip.
I wondered.
Yeah, this is it.
So cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh my gosh, what a wild thing. I'm telling you, basketball, like, I think that saved my life. Yeah, it did.
8 million.
The YMCA, you know what I mean? I don't even know how they knew where I lived or who my parents were or why they came knocking on the door one day.
YMCA.
Yeah. Yeah. The YMCA. This is crazy. Yeah, it's amazing. Gave a kid a chance.
And I don't know, you know, I've often thought about this, like, how did the YMCA, like, come, I remember when they came to my parents' house and knocked on the door, like, how did they search us out like that? I don't understand. And I remember overhearing part of the conversation and them saying, you know, we asked if there was anybody that the people at the park thought that, you know, somebody that they thought would want to play. And I didn't even know what basketball was. Like, I had not even seen one before, you know what I mean? So I was clueless why they picked me. I don't know, I kind of, this sounds really stupid, but I just almost feel as it was like angelic. You know what I mean? I do. I feel like it was almost angelic. I really wish I could know how that whole thing came about. I wish I could, like, I wish I could see the movie of the behind the scenes of who said something to the, you know, coaches for YMCA to go down to this street at 2417 Grant Avenue. Like, how would they know where we were and knock on my parents' door and ask that question? And I remember them handing me the jersey, the Jazz, number 14. So yeah, that was probably, I feel like basketball was a huge, it sounds so stupid and cliche, but lifesaver for me. That's how I feel. Like, it was something to look forward to, and I think there was encouragement there, and I think there was life there.
Wow. Yeah, pretty awesome. How fun.
How many scholarships were you offered?
26.
26
26 scholarship offers, yep. My junior year, if I completed with the same GPA and the same averages for scoring and rebounding, then full ride to Liberty University, which was an NCAA school.
Yeah, I think it was a nice little escape from what was happening at home, and probably a little bit of escape from fear. So even like when we walked back from the park back to the house, or where the house used to be, you know, it hit me when I hit the apartments that were right next to where our house was. And I had to stop and sit down and gather myself.
What are you thinking?
Yeah. I don't understand how people can neglect kids like that.
I'm so sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, gosh, it'd be different if it was like, you know, I had a single mom who, you know, worked 3 jobs to provide, but that's not what the case was. We were like such a nuisance, you know? It's a crazy busy street. I think about, like, I don't know, my grandkids. I would never let Riley walk down this street. She's almost 13. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's a crazy amount of neglect. And I just don't, I don't understand that. I just don't understand that at all.
It's intense, the thoughts of neglect and the thoughts of my grandson walking himself to the park. Anthem, being around that age to walk himself to the park, or Harvey, who's 6, Landon, who's 7, you know, Anthem, who's almost 5, and looking at, these were the ages that me and my 2 sisters were. We were all 18 months apart. So when I think about the 3 of us walking down that crazy big busy street, you know, and I often wondered, like, as an adult, would I think that street was still big? It is a busy street, right? 4 lanes with a suicide lane in the middle. That is a busy street with lights, you know what I mean? And so when I look at crossing that street as a little kid, that's so much responsibility and fear. You know what I mean? Like, walking by these big apartments. And so when I came back to where the house site was and sitting on that retaining wall, the apartments next door, it was like, just hit me like, man.
Just even like riding a bike, you know what I mean? That's crazy. And I had 2 routes to the grocery store. That street that we just came down, could you imagine a 6-year-old being sent to the grocery store because you have the munchies? That's freaking crazy. And sending with food stamps. So I'd walk that way around that block, or around that block, the street that we came in on, and sometimes send me to Vaughn's. Like, that's a huge grocery store. Just send your little kid into a huge grocery store and then, you know, take the paper bags and, right? Like, how do you hold that stuff? I remember, in fact, it was from this direction. I scraped my leg as I'm riding a bike. I just tore the skin off my leg from, you know, carrying groceries back. What am I, 7 years old? Like, that just blows my mind. Like, that's, I don't know. I got some more forgiveness to do on that one. Because that's like I said, I mean, it'd be different if it's a single parent, you know what I mean? And they're working hard to just provide for you, but that is not what was going on. Sitting around watching TV, smoking weed. And, you know, your kids are playing. I was walking down here, I was thinking, gosh, I remember being so scared walking by these apartments, right? And people watching, or men standing out and looking, you know, and me having to protect 2 little sisters when I'm just a little kid myself. You know, so I'm 8, Marty's 4, and Rhonda's 6. And it's a crazy amount of pressure on a little kid. And, you know, like I said, there's that man that totally exposes himself at us. And I'm like, come on, we gotta get out of here. And I don't think I told my mom either what happened. But, yeah, it's crazy. And I think every day walking myself to school, even as a kindergartner,
Right.
Anthem is almost 5.
Right. Oh my God.
Could not imagine having Anthem walk himself on this street to school.
You know, I realized I had been neglected, but this is crazy. To walk down these streets, be at that park, to walk to school, you know, to walk that whole route. I think this is the first time I've ever connected to the fact that they had nothing else to do. They just did it. It's not the corporate parent who, you know, chooses to work 80 hours a week. That's not, no, they were home. Where were my parents when we were at the park, at home? Where were they when we were walking ourselves to school, back and forth, at home? Like, they had nothing to do. They were welfare recipients. They were drug addicts. And they chose to absolutely not be involved at all. It's really painful. And so when I hear other people say stuff like that, well, my parents worked a lot, I almost want to slap them. Seriously. Because, yeah, I will agree, there are some parents, obviously, I've worked with thousands and thousands of people and lots of couples, and, you know, I've seen so many people get healed and delivered of being a workaholic or whatever, drugs or you name it, whatever addictions they've had. And, you know, so sometimes parents can get super, like, fixated on wanting to provide a certain standard of living for their kids, and so they make those kind of sacrifices, but that's for the kid. Do you know what I mean? That's for the future for the kid. That's for maybe the kid gets to go to college someday. They get to be in a better neighborhood, a safer neighborhood. They get to be, you know, have more opportunity offered to them. So I hear people complain about that. I just want to smack them. Like, do you have any idea what it really is like to be, like, neglected fully? Like, not that your parents watch TV. Like, no, like, they just did not, they were not involved with your life. They didn't care.